This podcast is part of the Planet Broadcasting Network.
Visit planetbcasting.com for more podcasts from our great mates.
Good morning, video games. Welcome to Filthy Casuals, a podcast about video games, hosted by three very kind and knowledgeable boys. Thank you very much for joining us. My name is Tommy Dasilo, and also here, as always,
it's Ben Vanel, and a very hearty good morning video games to you, Tommy. And joining us as always...
Adam Knox, good morning video games indeed. I was looking at my phone because I'm waiting for the Google Docs app to download.
Wonderful plug for the Google Docs app.
So,
just
well,
there.
the sponsors of the episode this week, Google. It's been a big get for us.
Now, I like what you guys did there. You both said good morning video games as well, which you've never done before.
Yeah.
Makes me feel a little less silly for having set it up the top.
Nice.
And going forward, I'd appreciate this if we made this canon from now on. What do you think?
That's fair. I like it. I like it. I like to say this catchphrase that I made up originally and have not got to say for 90-something episodes.
Well, what about if we plug this? We now have a T-shirt design.
Yeah.
Do we at this point?
Yes.
Is that live?
You didn't make up good morning video games.
Yeah. Yes, I did.
No,
Yeah,
you didn't.
Yeah, you did.
I did.
Are you trying to claim good morning video games?
I was saying it about Robin Williams. That's where it came from years ago.
Go back into the archives, my friend.
It was
Yeah.
before we even recorded the first one.
I recall Ben saying it on an episode for the first time.
For the first 5 episodes, I prepared a bit, and that was one of them.
And that stuck.
I swear, because I used to go, I've said this on the podcast before, good morning, Robin Williams, when I did the breakfast show.
Yeah, you notice how you don't say video games in there?
Yeah.
But that's, I swear, where it came from.
Yeah, I think you told that story after Ben said good morning video games for the first time.
Yeah.
This is a wonderful plug for the
this
T-shirt.
is one of them Berenstein Bears things where everyone thinks we've slipped into a different world because they're too narcissistic to admit that they've got their memory wrong.
Neither of you wrote the movie Good Morning Vietnam, so it doesn't matter who
That's
came
why I'm
up
so
with
confused by this.
the idea for our catchphrase first.
Robin and I sat down and worked on Good Morning Vietnam, along with imdb.com.
Aladdin. Anyway, yes, we now have a T-shirt design that you can purchase on Redbubble.
Yes.
You can find the link on our website and our social media. It is a wonderful design crafted by our very own in-house guru, Ben Vanel.
Or was it Adam Knox?
I made that T-shirt.
I can't remember.
Well, I'm going to lay claim to inventing the very concept of clothing, so I'm going to
Okay.
pit you both at the post there.
All right.
But yeah, it's Good Morning Video Games, our hotly contested catchphrase of the show in the Super Nintendo Entertainment System
No, it isn't.
logo format.
It's in a logo we made up that Nintendo has nothing to do with and couldn't be angry about.
Well, we're selling it through a third party on Redbubble, so I feel like they can take any of the legal heat. I feel like we're safe to just admit that we've plagiarized it, right?
Yeah, I think
I feel like that's the least safe thing to do.
there's about 1,000 Mario drawings on Redbubble being sold. So
That's Maria, my original character, who is a female plumber with a mustache.
Good morning, Maria.
So yeah, you can hop on and get one of them if you would like. I think they look great.
If you're a Patreon subscriber at the $50 a month tier, you'll be getting one for free.
Yes, and yes, we should plug that. The Patreon, we just sent out the first of our bonus episodes, the book club episode on Super Metroid, which people really enjoyed. So yeah, you can support the show if you would like to. Another way that you can support the show, if you are in Sydney, is you can come and see us do a live episode and Mario Kart tournament December the 16th at Cake Wines in Sydney.
And we will give you a show as well. You won't just be supporting the show. We'll say thank you and then make you leave.
We stand there with a bucket, and then once everyone's chipped in, we just walk out. We straight out the door.
Yeah.
Just take the bucket down to the Cass, ride the one-armed bandit all night.
I'm going to buy a smoke machine so it can look like I ran off so quickly that I turned into smoke.
That's great. So you're trying to look like you run off quickly, but you have to. You also, to do that, you have to plug in the smoke machine.
I'll have set
wait
it
for
up
it to warm
beforehand.
up. Set it up beforehand,
Okay.
right?
And then I'll come back the next day to get it so nobody sees me picking it up afterwards.
Yes. Okay. And how are you going to look like you're making a speedy escape from picking up the smoke machine?
A series of smoke machines. I'm gonna have to have
Paint a couple of lines on the wall and just
a
walk past
Hansel and
them.
Gretel
Yeah.
line of smoke machines from here to Sydney that I slowly work my way back.
And then throw yourself into an oven and cook yourself to death.
Ideally,
So yeah, that is all good stuff that you can come and see. Tickets and t-shirts and Patreon links at our website, filthycasuals.com.au. Since our last episode, the official trailer number 2 for Red Dead Redemption has gone live. A Rockstar Games joint. That happened like the day after we put last week's episode up. What do you guys think? Let me finish about this new shirt I'm wearing.
I love it.
Thanks.
I don't think it's as good as the first one you were wearing. I'm not sure if it looks as interesting as that one.
This is only the second shirt I've ever owned in my whole life. It was time to upgrade. The other one was very tight on me.
Both cowboy themed.
This is actually a shirt from before the... let it go.
Yep.
I wish your shirt was getting released on PC.
What do you guys think? I think it looks great. As someone who has no... I've never played the first one. I don't really have a great deal of expectation tethered to this.
Yeah.
I just think it looks great. Like, visually, the character appeals to me, the story appeals to me, whatever it is, I'm in. But obviously that's going to be different if you've got...
Well, I don't think the character in the trailers appeals to me at all, kind of. I don't want to play as that character. Like, John Marston in the first game, or in Red Dead Redemption, was a fantastic character with a really good arc, and it's a lot to measure up to.
A very sort of atypical cowboy character as well, where like he was this... Well, when I describe this is going to sound like a real cowboy thing.
Yeah.
He was a family man deep down who wanted to get out of... But like the way that they did that story was very non-bland. Whatever that word is. Interesting.
I think it's fair to say it is atypical, because even thinking of the spaghetti westerns and movies like that, Clint Eastwood is not really... he's a reluctant hero, but... in the way where he really is, he knows he's the best. He's the best dude, and he's coming to town and he's taking care of business.
Yeah, he's climbing over walls and knocking on barrels.
Totally.
I watched one scene from a Fistful of Dollars the other day, and he climbed over a wall and knocked on a barrel.
I've never seen a Clint Eastwood Western, but I have seen Gran Torino. So can you relate it to that in some way?
I think his character in Gran Torino would be a big fan of Clint Eastwood Westerns.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So the bit where he's pointing at the guy and pretending he's shooting him with a gun. In the Westerns, he's doing that for real.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice. Okay, now I'm in. I get it.
But at least, even in those, he... At worst, he's kind of dispassionate to the people around him, but deep down, he's a good guy. But John Marston was very passionate about his family, had a lot of core, morals, but was being pushed through this story by corrupt government officials and shitty old gang members, and it was just a different take. It felt like a different take.
Very similar in a weird way to Nico from GTA 4, but just done way better.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he was this guy who and it really did feel like John Marston really didn't want to do it.
Yes.
And then the way that, spoilers for the end of first Red Dead Redemption, the way that at the end of that game, it let you for quite a long time just hang around your ranch and do stuff for your family.
Yeah.
Was so smart and such a good way to sort of get to the ending of that game.
Yes.
But yeah, it's a minute and a half long, the trailer, but all you see of the guy who they're saying is the main character, Alex something?
Arthur Morgan.
He has a square jaw.
Yep.
And he threatens a child.
Yes.
That's basically all he does.
He looks like a Josh Brolin character.
He does, kind of like a villainy one.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Do you remember what the first trailers for Red Dead 1 were like? Because I'd be interested to know what kind of indication that gave about what you ended up playing. Because obviously, there's obviously way more to see about this. We don't know if there'll be multiple characters.
Totally.
That's something I've seen speculated quite a lot.
Yeah.
This guy might not even be... Well, have they said this is the guy or one of the guys that you're playing as? We don't even know that.
I think in the text that goes along with it, on their website or something, it says, this is Alex Morgan, who the character from Red Dead... maybe not specifically the guy you play as.
Yeah, he could just be...
I would love to see them do some kind of Metal Gear Solid 2 turn and have this guy be the first 5 hours of that game, and you then... I would like it if you then have to kill him as John Marston to join that gang or
Yeah,
something.
totally.
Because Dutch is the other character who's they say the name of in that trailer.
Yeah,
who
a
is-
young Dutch who, in the first Red Dead was he the leader of the gang or
No, that's Top Cat.
Gary Glitter, I thought. But that's less of a gang and more of a ring. But, he killed the guy who was the leader of that gang to become the leader of the gang.
There's what is he, Bill Williamson? There's two or three that are the big dogs, and John Marston was never a big dog. He was just a good guy.
Medium dog.
A medium dog, yeah.
So your concerns aside about this being the one and only main playable character, you put that aside, what do you think of this trailer? Just assessing him as a character and everything else that's going on and the tone and the feel.
It looks like the first one, but with much better graphics.
Yeah, it looks beautiful. It looks like they've expanded the stuff that was cool about the first game, just from that brief bit of the crocodile eating or I guess it would be an alligator eating the buffalo or whatever was happening there.
Yeah.
Just little things about the world looks like it's going to be more interesting.
So, believable and rich.
Yeah.
I really want to play the first one.
Yeah.
I really want that to come out remastered on something. Or not even remastered, just
it's
available.
backwards compatible on the Xbox One is the only
that thing I don't have.
Yeah. And other than that, you just have to have one of the last generation.
Yeah. I'd like to think that surely they'll, in the lead up to
I think
this
it's too late.
coming out. I
It does
guess.
kind of feel,
It's the other thing, if they were going to do it, they would have... I was kind of thinking when they said they were putting this trailer up, I was sort of thinking maybe there'll be an announcement on the back of... this is the most we're seeing. This kind of feels like the big reveal because the first trailer kind of showed us nothing apart from just the world.
And they say fall 2018, which is March, April, May, because that's spring... No, what the fuck?
It's spring 2018.
It's spring 2018 in
Yeah.
America.
Yeah.
Right.
Or Northern Hemisphere.
Yeah.
So if they released the first one in any sort of form again, it would be pulling the rug out from under their own game.
Yeah.
So
because the first one it holds up by all reports.
Yeah.
It is huge.
Yeah.
There's massive replay value and there's a multiplayer that's really good. So if they were all of a sudden to go, this is on PS4, this is on PC after finally.
Yeah.
Which it wouldn't be.
No.
It would be a very strange thing to do.
I think by all accounts that game was kind of fucked in the way they built it as well.
Yeah, you've said this a bit that the original code of it is
It might just
impossible
be
for them
too
to
hard
go
to
and,
put on anything else because it's kind of a
Oh, look, I
mess.
just very selfishly want it to happen because I want something to fill the gap and I don't want to wait until
I would
this
love
one.
that too.
And once a week I have to sit in a room with two fucking jabbering idiots who go on and on and on about how the first one makes their dick harder than it's ever been.
It was one of the best 3 to 5 games of that generation.
Yeah.
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, it looks like I'm very much up for more of whatever, and I'm very glad that trailer made it look like there's going to be a hefty single player thing again, rather than because there was some, and I don't know if anyone really thought this would happen, but because of the success of GTA Online, that they might shift focus into just being like, hey, let's fucking make these microtransactions happen some more.
But there'll be, I would reckon that would be a big part of this one. There'll be a big online component.
Oh, definitely.
Like
the first Red Dead's multiplayer was like a setup for GTA 5's almost. Like it had similar ideas.
Because they brought out like an add-on pack that was like zombies and shit, right?
Yes.
So they'll have an online component where you end up being able to do all sorts of wacky stuff that breaks the reality of... Like, there's that crazy gravity-defying racetracks thing in GTA Online now.
Yeah.
Like, they just
Undead
put all this
Nightmare
insane shit in there.
Yeah.
It was more like a Simpsons Halloween special or something.
Yeah.
It was so fucking good.
Yeah.
But I reckon
It was
they'll
so
have that.
cool.
They'll have heaps of online stuff that's just like...
Yeah.
Hey, you can play as a talking horse or whatever.
Yeah, here's a
I mean, I hope
Pegasus
it's
and
at
you
least
can-
as good as that. Mr. Ed DLC.
And why not? Yeah, do all of that stuff. But it looks like it'll be the good single player thing that I want to. And also there was a map that got allegedly leaked.
Yes. Yeah, I remember this. Yes.
So some people compared the stuff from the trailer to what that map said it had in it.
Yeah.
And the map sort of carries on from the northeastern part of the original game's map.
Yeah.
Well, it isn't there. There's a whole like Reddit community of people trying to like already design a map based on just like snippets that they've seen in the trailer.
This one came out. Like,
Right.
This
So
one
this was an actual leak of an actual apparent map.
Right.
Yeah, someone's uncle worked at Rockstar. I don't know what. There's going to be nude codes in it as well, I've
Hell
heard.
yes.
Pretty fucking cool. Let me see that cowboy dick.
Yeah.
Oh.
But it'll almost definitely be good and almost definitely not come out when they say it's going to come out. I bet it'll be this time next year.
Okay.
But that's fine. Take as long as you need to make something good.
Yeah.
I reckon. That's why we put out one of these a week. We record every day,
Yeah.
but only
Yeah.
one of them's good enough to
Got a
release.
1 in 7 chance every time we sit down that this is going to be the one that we put out. There was also news this week. This is in the lead up to the SNES Classic Mini coming out. They've been publishing a bunch of interviews with the developers of some key games that are on it. They spoke to some of the developers of Super Mario World, and there's like a little animation when you're on Yoshi, when you make him stick his tongue out, where people have kind of debated for a while, is Mario pointing and saying, there, go stick your tongue out in that direction, or is he belting Yoshi on the back of the head?
Yeah.
And after all these years...
Donkey Kong punching him.
Very nice. After all these years, the developers have broken their silence and come out to
Yeah.
confirm, he is bashing him in the back of the head.
Yeah.
I love stuff like this. Like, I love these little bits of trivia that people sit on for all this time,
Yeah.
and then just like someone asks all it took was just asking the right question.
Yeah.
Mario seems to interact with everything by punching, because I always thought he was hitting the blocks with his head, but he punches them as well.
You really thought he was hitting them with his head?
Yeah.
I thought he was hitting him with his head until
Really?
5 seconds ago.
Yeah, no, he's punching him.
Yeah,
because he
okay.
jumps up and his little jump has the punch
Yeah.
in it
Yeah,
as well.
that makes sense.
I always just thought it was his head.
Yeah.
But you
because I
couldn't
guess in the
make
3D ones, it is his head.
Yeah.
No, there's still the fist is going up
Is
before the
there?
head makes
Wow.
contact.
Yeah,
Now,
mate, I
this
don't
is a
know.
Berenstain Bears situation.
How would he make it to the end of the game without serious concussion /
why that-
breaking
that's
his
that hat.
skull wide open?
I don't know.
mean, it just doesn't make sense, guys.
I used to run around jumping into bricks with my head all the time, and look at me. Look at me.
There was a guy at my high school who, he would sometimes punch a wall to show that he was cool.
Man, that is cool.
Well,
That is cool.
That's what Mario does.
Yeah.
That's
he punches
undeniably
bricks.
cool. So what, was this in the classroom? He just would stand up
No,
and
it was
go,
only a
get a
couple
load
of
of this.
times, and I just remember him coming up to us and being like, "Check out that," and his knuckles were all bloody, and he was like, "See that?" And I was like, "Oh my god, how'd you get that?" He's like, "Punched a wall."
What year
Oh,
was
sick.
this?
He brought an axe to school once.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, what year level was this?
This was after I was kept back in year 12 for the 4th time.
Okay.
So we were all 19 or whatever.
All
would
of you.
be then.
Well, he certainly would have
it was-
been.
I don't know. We were all 15 or something, 14.
So high
Okay,
school,
right.
right,
Early
yeah.
high
Yeah.
school, right.
Yeah.
Because I was like, that's the difference between it being like, okay, that kind of makes sense that that's an age where that's the sort of thing you'd think was cool. If you said like year 3, I'd go, wow, this is deeply,
yeah.
This is-
deeply early troubles.
This is primo emo time as well.
Yeah,
so this
yeah,
is,
yeah.
This is
I love primo emo.
deep in the middle of, that sort of culture of like, yeah, man, pain's good.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, Yoshi could relate to that. Just getting clocked on the back of the skull.
I like that
Bonked.
thing of how fucking replaceable Yoshis are. The idea that Yoshi is a character and exists as sort of like a mascot thing, but then is
Yeah.
also this infinity clone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the thing I've always found weird. That
different
there's,
coloured ones and
yeah,
everything,
that there's
yeah.
what, hundreds of thousands of these things.
Yeah.
But then the ones that we when we play as him in Mario Kart, is that the same Yoshi from game to game, or is that just a different one? That's
No one
is
knows,
this
man.
the
Yeah.
is this the alpha Yoshi?
Hugh
Yeah, or is
Jackman
it-
will do anything for his magic. What's that
Yeah.
movie called? The movie about the
Prestige.
clones? No, Mary Kate and Ashley take Manhattan.
The
They're
Yoshi
clones
trap.
of each other, right?
And they certainly are in a movie called Take Manhattan.
There's one where they become.
Now, just
the
wait
president.
one New York minute.
They do become or they mow the president's lawn or something in some movie.
yeah.
Yeah, who cares?
But yeah, that raises a lot of weird questions about. So, Mario belts him in the back of the head,
Yeah.
and he's sticking his tongue out. Yet,
It
as
makes
soon
make
as
a lot of sense why his
Yeah.
tongue goes, "Go fuck."
Yeah.
as soon as an enemy touches him, he fucking cracks the shits, throws
Right.
Mario off his back and goes running away.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Why?
Because he's sick of being punched in the head. What do you mean?
Breaking point is when someone else does it to him.
Well, whatever
so-
enemy is
So he's angry at
hitting
Mario for steering
is
him in.
freeing Yoshi so that Yoshi can run the fuck away from Mario as he's always wanted to.
Okay.
Mm.
Okay.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Not really. But why does him touching an enemy? Why does that trigger that?
Because the Goomba hurts Mario.
But
And it knocks Mario off of Yoshi.
Okay,
And then
right.
Yoshi's like, I'm finally free.
Right.
Let me out of here.
I can
Yeah.
run. I can
Yeah.
run back and forth, but I cannot climb this wall.
How's he gonna get
I'm
out of
trapped here forever.
He doesn't know to jump unless Mario viciously kicks him in the side.
God, it's a shame that they got rid of the little noise that he makes in the SNES game.
Yeah.
And now he has this like little kind of cutesy. I
Wait,
miss
what's the
that
noise
old-
he makes in the SNES game?
You know, he makes a little whoop whirl, that little noise when you
Oh,
jump
He
on
still
him.
does that, does it? Oh, no, I
No.
guess he's just like, black.
Yeah, now he's like, he's like, you know, does all these little squeaks and stuff.
Yeah.
31.
Charles Martinet's like 60-something.
Yeah. But you don't want to be like him, do you?
I'd take that job.
He seems
It's
mental.
me, Mario. I can't get as high as he can.
Do either of you follow him on Instagram? He's,
I don't follow him on Twitter, let alone Instagram.
He's mental. Like
Yeah.
it's worth it because it's a good watch, but
Okay.
he's not right.
No, I don't think he is.
I think he thinks he's like. I think he thinks he is the game.
Yeah.
Like I think there's a lot of blurring of the lines of reality and the work of fiction that he's paid to be a part of.
Well, all the best to him.
I mean, he's not punching walls crazy, but he's up there.
He's punching baby dinosaurs crazy.
So in terms of games we've played this week, it's been a bit of a big week of new releases.
Just
Yeah.
very quickly before we move on as well, I saw something because it's like about the stuff of developers saying why they did things. There was that thing about Breath of the Wild as
Oh, yeah.
well.
Oh,
That was kind of
yes.
interesting.
Yeah.
Some,
I thought it was extremely interesting.
Yeah, I knew as soon as I read it that this is extremely Ben Vanel shit.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
taking the world and making it just a series of shapes that can be slowly processed. I love it.
I love structure, baby.
That triangle thing though was really cool. So it was
Yeah.
like I don't know where it came from, but I saw it in the form of a Twitter thread, which I think someone translated from an article that was
Yeah, I
from
think
Yes.
they did a
Yes.
presentation. I think Nintendo did
Right.
one of the developers did a talk about it, and
Right.
and then that got transcribed in a magazine, and then someone translated that from Japanese into English.
Right. And so
Right.
the main takeaway that I had from it
Pizza.
was yeah.
I was like chewing my nail. Otherwise, I would have been in there right at the same
Well,
time.
it's a disgusting habit, and hopefully this is a lesson to you to stop chewing your goddamn nails.
Put a pizza in there instead.
okay.
The thing of a big design thing for them was to
Indian.
make as many things triangles as they could.
Yeah, yeah.
Because the reason I liked that was because the idea of a triangle being a choice.
Yes.
And so if you
Yes.
see a triangle, you've got an option of going left or right to get to the other side of
Well,
it.
what is it? You
Yeah.
can go straight
it-
through, you can go
yes.
left or right, you can also go around
And
it.
so it
Yeah.
obscures what's
Yeah.
behind it as well to give you a sense of discovery.
Yeah.
And then it was sometimes rectangles, but so rather than it being the focus on the shapes, it was more the focus on don't show people everything and make everything look like there's a choice before you see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a really interesting thing of that's the most remarkable thing about that game is how you get so lost in it feeling like a real world that is just created by, whatever, just natural landmass and everything.
Yeah.
And it's so easy to get caught up in that, and then you remember, oh no, someone designed every inch of this.
Yeah.
And it's just a nice insight into exactly how that took place.
And
And
that
I'm just
thing of,
going, they sat there and drew a big map.
Having
Yeah.
this very simple rule that you then apply to this huge area is
Yeah.
always such a cool thing because
Yeah.
it makes this what's the word? Not exacerbate.
Good.
No,
Pizza.
no, but
It makes this big
now that's all
pizza.
I'm thinking about.
Capricciosa.
What do you call it when something
Extrapolate.
no, maybe
You haven't even told us what the meaning of the word
like
you're
one
looking
little
for
thing
is.
spreads into lots of different
exponential.
things. Exponential.
Yeah.
That's the word.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah, because they also showed a zoomed out, almost bird's eye view of how an actual landscape can be dotted with these triangles or
Yeah, yeah.
pyramids,
Yeah.
where it's it's the philosophy of like making the player want to see what's around the next corner.
Yeah.
Over and over and over again.
Look it up. We'll post it on our socials. It's a great
little
great
stuff of
read,
just,
and they do the specific things of like how this kind of castle. What is there a bit where you go to a bridge and like that's a cool reveal, and then round and it's obscured by mountains, and then round the corner from that there's a tower, and just all that sort of stuff is.
And it had like little things of they would fix bugs along the way because they realized early on it would be too big.
Well, that was one guy. I think the story is that was one guy who was kind of championing going, if we debug this when it's done, it's going to take fucking forever.
Yeah.
So he was kind of pushing to do it.
So just like, really smart things early on.
And
some great.
I kind of didn't properly read this bit, but it was the...
but blood... I think it said.
The moon landing was faked, I think was the point of it.
You read that perfectly.
Something how the developers would kind of like plant notes for each other in the world as they were building it.
Yeah.
So you would come to a bit...
they'd like tag issues or bugs or ideas or whatever.
As a
so no one would
shorthand
double
for-
up on work because you're not going to read your emails at the same time as you're doing it. So having it in the world makes total sense. I would love it if they'd have accidentally left in one of those little signs just saying like, fucking, I don't like this area.
Yeah. Or just like, your turn to get coffee, you cunt.
Have you seen that thing?
just fucking outing someone.
I think it's in like either
can't
a Tomb
believe
Raider
he's rooting
game.
the boss's missus.
It's either a Tomb Raider game or a Hitman game or something. There is like an item where the description is something like, please write item description here.
Great.
And it like singles out one person's name as well.
Oh, nice.
That's a fantastic read, and it's interesting though. There's part of me that's in two minds about it, where I love reading stuff like this, but I also love there just being a little bit of magic in the world. I think sometimes it's interesting the choices that people who make these things have to make between. Is there more merit in like letting people know how we did it as an interesting exercise in design, or maybe people who are studying this kind of stuff might like to know, or are you better off keeping the lid on it? Because Nintendo...
then you're no better than a magician.
Well,
at that
Nintendo
point.
typically
I'm
don't...
never going to tell.
Nintendo typically don't do this kind of... Like, they are very big on, like... And that's why it's been interesting, the reviews, the interviews that they've had about the games that are on the SNES Mini. Like, some of the little tidbits in that are stuff that, like, just has just never been revealed, about the ways that they... Even just little things about how they made Super Mario Kart are, like, super interesting. Doesn't seem like they seem very into the idea of, like... You get this thing and it's like, who cares how we made it? Just play the thing. Yeah. Whereas,
I love that shit though. It's DVD commentaries. Like Valve used to do those
Yeah.
really well, where they'd have... Did you ever turn on any of the little bubble... Like, so you could turn on basically DVD commentary mode in Valve games, and they would have these little bubbles in the world that you'd hit, and then there'd be one of the developers explaining like, people weren't coming through this door that they were meant to come through when we were testing it, so we just turned this light on here, and then everyone went to the light like a bunch of fucking moths, and we're never going to make any more games ever again.
Oh yeah. I think BioShock might have done those recently. There's been a few games. Yeah.
In the re-release, I think there was something like that. Because play through it the first time and have the magic thing and whatever.
Yeah.
But then afterwards... Tell me how you did the trick.
Such a freak for like concept sketches of anything I really like. I love seeing like in cartoons the character designs before they got refined. Like I love all that stuff, and I wish
bunny ears and whatever.
Yes. I wished I really they when they did Super Mario Maker, they kind of started putting out little bits and pieces of like their like little original sketches for Super Mario Brothers.
That's right.
I love
the graph
seeing
paper levels and stuff. Yeah,
I
The
love
original
seeing all
Yoshi?
that kind of stuff.
Where he had like a beak.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
It looked
right.
way more kind of dinosaurish.
Yeah.
You can find a lot of there's some really great ones for when they were trying to design Sonic the Hedgehog, and like he was
You
a
can
rabbit
find a
at
lot
one
of
point.
drawings of Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah. What is it? Rule 38.
It's, I think 4 less than that.
There's
You know exactly.
I think it's 4. That's why I said it in the. I chose my words carefully.
Yeah, he was like a rabbit at one point, and like,
Right.
and just like you can,
That makes more sense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Rabbits are much quicker, but hedgehog is like funny because they're slow.
but you can find like the development of like, and all those like, it's not video games, but like the big art of Pixar books. Like I froth on that sort of stuff so
Yeah.
hard, like all the watercolor paintings of like the preliminary sketches and stuff. But well, hey, speaking of cartoons and animation and that kind of stuff, one of the big releases of this week, which started to seem like it was quite frankly never going to come out, Cuphead
Yeah,
came
it's been
out
like-
on the Xbox this week.
Yeah.
And on the PC.
Oh,
as
and on
well.
Windows
PC.
10 only.
Oh, really? I thought it was on Steam.
I think it's just Windows 10.
I think it's on Steam too. I think I was looking at that earlier.
Okay, then I'll get it and play it.
Yeah.
Because I thought it was just, for some reason, like the Microsoft store.
I think it's on that.
I'll
as
tell you
well.
what the
It would
reason
be.
was. You're a fucking dipshit. That's what it is.
I'm a real Cuphead.
As more of a mug man myself, like I feel
You
qualified.
do like the
to-
mug on stage. I'm really interested to hear about this game. 'Cause
Yeah,
I've
me too.
Fuck, I really have been so into the style and even what looks like the gameplay since it was announced.
Yeah, so
It
this,
is on Steam. I just checked. Yeah.
Awesome.
This has been. I think this is one of the ones we've been talking about since we started this show.
It's been 3
It's
years
been
or something.
being
Yeah.
made for a very long time.
Yeah.
Well, because they showed it and it was all just bosses, and then people went, "Oh, really?" And they
Yes.
went and made more.
Great
of it.
impression of everyone.
I feel, as a man of the people, I feel willing to speak for everybody when I say, "Fucking blah, blah, blah." That's what I think people are saying mostly at the moment. Just
Yeah.
screams.
To be fair, I think most people who had that reaction to Cuphead would have reacted in that snotty
Yeah.
way.
Yeah, fair.
Really?
Yeah.
So it's,
I deserve more.
It started getting shown off, and people were really drawn to it because it's done in this like beautiful hand drawn 1950s Fleischer
Even earlier,
cartoons
so it's
30s,
style.
90
30s, right?
Every
yeah.
time you die, which will happen a lot, it says copyright 1930 on these.
Right,
little
right,
wheels
Yeah,
that
cool.
show.
Right.
It's
so
fucking great in that aspect too. Like every aspect of the presentation they've nailed. Like I've seen people complaining about the music being old fashioned, but like of course it is.
Yeah.
But it is a little dull to listen to nowadays, but in what it is, it's
That's-
done well.
yeah,
Right.
point.
It feels weird to hear a bunch of clarinet. You know what I mean?
I'm fucking more excited than I was before to
But-
hear that. That sounds fucking great. I love woodwind instruments.
It's a
Fucking
lot
hell.
of like it's a lot of blend into the background brass and stuff, and like
Right.
the music is just a little
Merry Melodies, kind of the
Yeah, right.
the cow
even
and the,
less than that, and it's all
Right.
quite tinny
Yeah, okay.
deliberately.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
It just is a little kind of backgroundy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
But it's fine. But the visuals are fucking incredible.
Yeah.
It looks so good. It like you could make a real solid argument to say that this is the best looking game that's ever.
Yeah,
been
right.
right.
Go ahead,
Fuck,
make
I
it
don't
now.
know if I like playing it.
Yeah,
It's like it is really hard in a way that isn't going to sit well with a lot of people who come to it, I reckon. Like
to me, from what I've read of it, it sounds hard in a way that is not fun. Or let me rephrase that I would not find fun.
it's very
Right.
Groundhog Day
Mm-hmm.
in that you learn
you die again and again, and it's just memorizing the
you-
patterns. and-
exactly.
yeah.
You're learning exactly what to. It feels like Contra or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
Where
I just want to know, this is the second week in a row that we've referenced Groundhog Day.
Is it really?
Yeah. You know what that feels like.
Think of something that's not Groundhog Day quickly.
Quick, we all do comedy. Prove ourselves.
What's the other Groundhog Day? Groundhog Day 2?
Ghostbusters 2. Yeah.
The listeners will remember this when we plug our comedy festival shows. Quick.
Yeah, it's just like it's a little frustrating at
Yeah,
times
okay.
in that you don't always feel like your skill is the only thing that's being tested.
Right.
Yeah.
It's your memory as well, which it's very much designed with that in mind. And so from that point of view, I don't think it's necessarily a flaw,
Right.
and more of a
Yeah.
style
It
choice.
sounds to me like there are big bits where you just are going to die. And I do
Yeah.
like that thing of in a platformer where, yeah, it's hard and you die repeatedly, but by the time you clear it, you've memorized everything.
Yeah.
So
Right.
you're just doing it on instinct.
Yeah.
Rayman Legends has a couple of levels like that.
Yeah.
That and especially the invasion ones that you go back into where they get very, very challenging. But I think the difference there is you could still luck out and make it through your first time.
Yeah.
If you've been playing the game a lot and you're good, you could, and you can react quickly, you could get it. It's not deliberately just dropping a thing on you that you never knew was coming and there was no way around without knowing it was
And
there.
that-
and
Right.
this doesn't feel like that. This feels like you just have to die. Like, you can't luck out and make your way through it.
It's not really usually that, like, literally, like, a weight is dropped on your head and it's like, fuck you, remember that next time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just what comes at you so quickly.
Yeah.
And isn't really telegraphed in a way that
Like
would
a
make it
weight
obvious
dropping
what's
on you.
happening. More like a weight being thrown from the side of the screen. But
Right.
it's very old-fashioned and, like,
Yeah.
arcadey in that way. And
Yeah.
it's really just something that either you're going to put up with or not.
Like,
Right.
I know this sounds like a very dumb complaint because it's just me going, I wish this was a different thing, and it's
Yeah.
not, so get over it. But I just wish these were two separate games. I wish
Right.
they had made a cool platformer that looks like an old 1930s cartoon.
Right.
And it also just made a super punishing
Like 2D shooter.
shooter game for people that are into that. I kind
Right.
of wish they existed separately because I'd love to play it, but I just don't think I would find it fun.
I can't tell if I'm enjoying it as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's that sort of thing where it's so frustrating, or it's like at points so demanding that even when you do overcome whatever it is, rather than going like, fuck yeah, I finished it, you're like, fuck you, I beat you, you
Yeah,
cunt," you
yeah,
know,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
you
It's
are-
such a fine line, isn't it?
Yeah.
But
It's
and it's
ridiculous.
also I mean, obviously a lot of it comes down to the player's skill level, but yeah, there was a couple of bosses in Rayman Legends that took me like quite a few goes and really like tricky stuff of like, and really having to make sure I was super precise, no room for fucking up. Like, you don't have a health bar, like you just take one hit and that's it.
Yeah.
But it was like, when I finally took it out, I felt like I beat this boss because I just learnt and I got better over the hour that it took me. And like, I just am fucking good at this and
Right.
I earned this victory. Not like, oh, thank God it's over and I got through.
Yeah, and there's some stuff of like you can only shoot in 8 directions. It's not like a full sort of circle.
Yeah,
analog
right.
shooting,
I've heard the
which
layout of the buttons is a little...
I changed
jarring.
that straight away,
Right.
Because you're having to take your you basically should never not be shooting.
Yeah.
Right.
And so I'd move that button straight. But like, yeah, just that it doesn't feel great to have to line yourself up and shoot diagonally to get this thing that like if you had an analog shooting control or whatever, then it like some of that stuff just feels artificially kind of difficult, if that makes sense.
Right.
Like the game feels like you are fucking banging your head against a wall. It's like a real cool guy.
So it feels like
For
a
a long
Mario
time.
game.
Like the king of year 10.
But it is something that a lot of people will find rewarding, and like the presentation of it does a lot to keep you interested.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because it constantly looks like fascinating to look at in the same way that those old cartoons do, where there's so much happening
Yeah.
in the animation that it is just fun to look at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I'll watch some playthroughs and that'll probably do me.
It like...
Well,
yeah,
also, I don't even know why I'm saying that. I don't own a
you
thing
can't
that
play
it's
it.
on, so I can't
Yeah.
play it either way.
Yeah, I'm really hyped to play. I just thought I couldn't play it. That's really cool. And like
For you, the bigger challenge was just, fucking turning your brain on and working out that you can buy it.
yeah.
accidentally turning on your Google phone again.
Don't say the word. But I
Okay,
know.
Boogle. Okay, Poodle.
I turned on.
I tricked it. You think you're a poodle, you idiot.
This is the best.
Okay, Doodle.
It's
Did
still,
it do it?
Yeah, it's still
it thinks
responding.
it's a doodle.
I love watching buyer's remorse sink in.
What I have come to realize about myself is that
Oh, here we go.
I tend to be more of a style over substance person when it comes to games, or I can
Right.
definitely be drawn in more by style and let that.
I don't know if the mics picked that up, but
It is midway
what's the
through.
Google woman's name? It's not Siri.
I don't think she has a name.
Let's name her now.
Google.
Googlet.
Googlet? Sure.
Fuck, what was I saying? Yeah, I have a tendency to let a great style that I like
Yes.
push me through or keep me invested in a game even when I'm not that into the combat or the gameplay or whatever that happens to be.
Do
I
you
think
not
this will
think...
do that for
Yeah,
you. Because
right.
it's not bad and there is substance to it. It's just a really divisive type of substance.
Right.
But do you not
Like
think
heroin.
that most people are like that when it comes to games? Like, if you're just into the look and the feel of something, that goes a long way to, your commitment to it.
No, I think that it depends. I think that, like, with Bioshock Infinite is one of my favorite games, and a lot of people criticize that for its repetitive gameplay and the difficulty of the shooting, the unnecessarily...
Yeah, but that's my point, is that they clearly weren't sucked into the look and feel and vibe of it enough. Like, it wasn't doing it for them. Perhaps if it had been, they would have been prepared to overcome those shortcomings.
I guess, but then I also think, like, no, it's objectively a beautiful game in a lot of ways, visually.
And I don't think anyone ever argued that the art style was bad or that. Or
Right.
anything like that.
Right.
But it's just whether or not...
It does it for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, like
Yeah.
Persona 5 was like that for me. I'd often... Not often, but like... Sometimes you get a game where the style of it is so is such a deep core thing of its identity that is just a part of it, and you can't really separate it from the mechanics of it, if that makes sense.
Well, I'll talk about it a bit more in the future, but I started playing it on Sunday, and I played it for an hour and 45 minutes, and in that time, nearly 2 hours, I did fuck all. I pushed the button about 6 times, but... I was like, I don't care. Like, I love everything else that's going on. This looks so good. The music is amazing.
Yeah.
The whole vibe of it. I was just like, even if no
great.
more gameplay happens other than this very minor bits that I've done, I wouldn't care. Like, I'm just in. And now if I wasn't into any of that stuff, I'd be going... I'm just fucking watching a video. What's the point of this?
Well, that's what happened to me with stuff like Tomb Raider, where I would really notice when I was just kind of holding forward for a while.
Yeah.
Because all that other stuff didn't cover that up enough. And most games, there's at least a relatively large element of it where kind of it's doing a good job or not of covering up that you're interacting with it in a minimal way. A lot of the time.
Yes.
Sure, yeah.
Well, let's move on to 2 games that have come out for the Switch this week that I believe Ben and myself have both played.
Yes.
First of all, Golf Story.
Yes, which is a Switch
It's
exclusive.
Switch exclusive, yeah. So
Is this about the first or the second Gulf War?
I think it's the second. Saddam Hussein's murdered at some point in this game.
spoilers. So this got announced a little while ago, something that I've been very excited for because it's extremely my shit. It's a
game for children.
It's fucking easy. It's one step up from Mario Teaches Typing in the difficulty stakes.
Yes.
So it's a 16-bit styled top-down RPG set in the world of golf. Clearly, okay.
The Golf cinematic universe.
Clearly taking a lot of cues from the old Game Boy Color Mario Golf game.
Right.
Which there was a Mario Golf on the 64 which was just you playing golf, and then there was one on the Game Boy which was this little RPG where you created a little avatar character and then you did all these little RPG tasks around this golf club.
Same as Mario Tennis?
Yeah, same thing.
Right,
And you would play matches against all these other people that were kind of, I think most of them were invented for the game. And the whole thing was you one day getting to take on the ultimate club champion, Mario himself, which is very funny that Mario's just this, in whatever occupation he's in, he's just this demigod figure that people just worship as the all-time greatest golf player that's ever walked the earth.
Even though secretly abusive towards animals.
Yes. It's clearly, getting in on a bit of that, like trying to kind of recreate that vibe.
Right.
Feels like everyone who worked on this very influenced by that.
Right.
It's an Australian studio, which I didn't know until it came out.
Sidebar Studio?
Sidebar Games, which I don't think they've done. They haven't done anything else that I could find.
Right.
I'd love to know more about them, but I read that about them, and then you play it, and you can tell within 5 minutes that it's. NPCs call you mate, and items that you can buy are like sausage rolls and meat pies and stuff like that.
Yep. It is very Aussie.
It's very Aussie.
Cool.
Yeah,
Because you're from Australia doesn't mean that you have to go like, and everything's sausage. Like, I want everyone to know that Australians know that sausage rolls aren't the only food.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yes.
there's pizza as well.
Yes.
But yeah, it we'd kind of moved to make it very like Aussie slang based for something that they know is going to be quite global.
Yeah.
But anyway,
I think it's a great move. It just gives it a bit more character.
it gives it a lot of character. So
Yeah.
I liked how Rare did that with all the British. How
yes, true.
Banjo was like a British bear.
Yeah,
weirdly, and
a
stuff.
lot of British like rhyming slang and stuff in
right.
there. But yeah, so it's got a lot of character in it. I think the writing is really good for what it's doing.
We were talking about this off air, just as friends, but it is a genuinely funny game.
Yes.
Which is something we've kind of touched on previously. How there's not a lot of funny games.
It's hard.
It's hard to make a funny game, and this I think succeeds.
Yeah.
I find it quite funny.
Yeah, it's basically you are going around you kind of gradually progress through these different golf courses, and there's like as is, given away in the title, there is a bit of a story that's kind of pushing you forward, and there's a mix between you playing like a little tournament at each course where you go through the 9 holes, and then you just kind of going around and doing little challenges where it's like, hey, you have to hit this target, or you have to try and... So it's just basically you playing golf again and again and again and again and again, which should get extremely boring extremely quickly, but the flair and the kind of writing that kind of underpins all these little challenges is just so charming and inventive and surprising at every turn that I find myself buying into it and just really wanting to get to the next little world to see what kind of things it throws at me. Like there's bits where, there's like a course that's surrounded by water and they can't play the tournament because there's turtles in the water that are angry. So it's this whole thing of like, hey, hit your ball onto their shells and that'll make them happy again. So it's all just target practice.
Yeah,
but it's just
it also
the little
teaches
ways
you
that,
a new technique where you can bounce balls off turtle shells to reach extra, to get to take a shortcut through a course.
There's one where there's birds stealing balls from the players on the course, and different coloured birds take the balls to different areas. So you have to help this guy. Like, hey, I need to work out which bird does which. So
some will
hit
take
a ball
it into
to
a
each of
bunker.
them.
Some will take it into the rough. Yeah.
So then there's a course where there's 5 of them scattered across, and it's just like you have to do each colour. Just all little things like this that are all... And the way the characters are written and the way they talk to you is all, very funny. And, the look of it is great.
Yeah.
How does the golf feel?
It feels really good. Yeah,
Yeah.
they've nailed it. They've nailed that side of it.
Yes.
The mechanics of a golf video game haven't changed since the very first one on the NES, I guess. I think that was like the first, or that kind of pioneered that.
So is it like push the button and then the meter moves and hit it again when it's at the right point?
Yeah, so
Exactly.
you have two ends. So one end controls distance and the other end controls power.
A wind gauge sort of thing.
all that stuff, slope. So
All right, you don't have to insult me.
So the feel of when you line them up, because it gives you little markers of like, if you want to do the perfect shot, get it in this bit and this bit. The feel of when you get that, it hits the ball with this extra. There's like a special sound effect that you get.
Yeah, when
it's
you
just this,
hit it perfectly.
this huge crack that feels great. The sound of the ball hitting like going into the hole.
Yep.
They've nailed that.
Totally.
Yeah. It's almost as good as that.
The game, I agree with all of that stuff. And the game that it reminds me of the most is the Pokemon Red or Blue.
Yeah.
Because what it basically is that story, but and you go from town to town or course to course, and before you can get to the gym or play the course properly in a competition, you have to solve a bunch of problems and find something for someone and unlock this, and it's basically that exact structure applied to a top-down golf game. Mm-hmm. And it's really addictive. The golf part of it is very addictive and satisfying.
Great.
It is kind of easy, but
But the golf part of it, as
really
you
fun.
get up to the new courses, you unlock them in a quick play mode where you can just go in and play a 1 or 2 player round of golf.
Yep.
And I played the other day with my big dumb jock of a girlfriend, and it's great. Like that's maybe one of its best assets is that you've got this cool, simplistic little portable golf game that's easy to control, easy to pick up and play, like the perfect kind of thing for the Switch in a handheld capacity.
Yeah.
I'm guessing the answer to this is no, but there's no like motion control option.
There's no motion control, no. It's really it's really addictive and really good. Like, if I had to pick gripes, the music is good, but it's just like it's kind of got this like jazzy instrumental soundtrack, which just it's weird to have these like very nice 16-bit graphics and then have music that's not in that style as well.
Right.
I find that weird.
Yeah, I have almost have not registered the fact that there is music at all.
Yeah.
It's totally background music.
Yeah. And also the thing I find a little weird about it is that for every challenge that you do, you rack up all this cash.
Yeah.
And then there's like shops in each little new place that you go to, but they only ever have like one club that you can buy. Like, it's weird that you are constantly getting money for the chores that you do, but then there's like nothing to buy with it, which seems weird. It seems like the sort of thing that would really lend itself to like, oh, now you can get sunglasses for your character, or you can get all this crazy other stuff that's going to like, really change your game. And you buy new clubs, but they don't seem like they do that. They don't seem like they change much at all.
No, and like half of the items are just like quest items that you end up having to get anyway.
Yeah.
So there's not like with the Pokemon example, there's not different. You don't like go, maybe if I can get like the Master Club, I will get an extra 50 yards on this hit, but you can only use it 5 times. So you like, there's none of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, but that's
That is weird.
But that's a minor complaint, and it's like it feels like it's gotten a great response so far. So it definitely seems like something that they'll do add-ons for or something. Because
to
people
see some bloody Aussies getting out there.
Yeah.
Make a couple games.
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of good
boys.
Aussie games on the Switch. Like Sonic is kind of technically Aussie made.
Yeah.
Death Squared is really great.
Yeah.
This is really
Noir is
great.
coming out again. I guess that's sort of
What? Sorry.
LA Noir.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Sort of.
I said great. Anyway, that's definitely worth checking out if you own a Switch. Something else I've been playing this week is Steamworld Dig 2.
Yeah.
I believe you have started playing this.
Yeah.
So I went and stalked your little profile on the Switch last night, didn't I?
How many hours have I put in? Like 1 or 2?
It doesn't register until
It says
you've
a
played
few.
5.
Right,
It says played for a little while,
That's
and then
right.
you hit 5, and it's like 5 hours.
Yeah.
Now I think there needs to be something in between a little bit and 5 hours.
Yeah.
That's a big chasm.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think?
I don't think I'm into it.
Right.
Yeah.
What is it? I know. I've no idea what this is.
It's a sequel. It's obviously a sequel.
Wait, what?
I never played the original, but so you're a little robot and you're trying to find the main character from the first game who
Right.
kind of went missing, and it's basically you are mining. You got this little pickaxe and you're kind of mining your way down, and as you go, you pick up.
and
you
then-
find gems and you find
And you buy a better drill that you
and you go then you go up to the surface.
Right.
Then you buy better equipment. So
There are a bunch of Flash games that used to be around
Right.
that were like this.
I mean,
right.
it's super like Metroidvania kind of like, you
Make the numbers go up so you can go further, so you can make the numbers go up further. so you
Totally,
can go
yeah,
further.
totally. And it's interesting. I thought it would be extremely your shit because playing it was like, oh, this is what you are saying you enjoy about the loop of No Man's Sky.
Right.
And it kind of made me realize it's just like, this is what we're saying before. It's all just like the package that appeals to you the most.
Yeah.
And No Man's Sky didn't, and this really does because it's cool little robot characters. Again, the music is great. The style, it looks amazing, like for what it's doing.
Right.
I'm super hooked into it and
Yeah.
really enjoying it.
I, it's so basic, but like I don't find the gameplay fun.
Right.
Like physically, I don't like the kind of 2D platforming nature. I don't really like the style.
Right.
Like I don't hate it. I don't dislike it, but
Yeah.
I don't like it enough to make me keep playing a game that I'm just kind of not that into.
It's interesting because I had seen it like announced and stuff and just kind of went, looks fine, but I'm just gonna give it a miss because there's enough stuff coming out that I'm super into.
Yeah.
And then just read a couple of really great reviews, and Andrew Levin's friend of the show was like really into it, and I just kind of went, okay, I guess I'll. And yeah, it's. I think once I finished it, it's not something I'm busting to 100% or really, go super beyond just the main story.
Yeah.
But it's a great little, you can pick it up and you just kind of chip away and you go down the mine and you get a new pickaxe, and it's like just good for a little half-hour session of just kind of, it is. And It's very satisfying now when I open my map and it's like you're so far down and you kind of remember like you started right up the very top and you had no resources or anything. Like I love that feeling of like going and you unlock stuff where you can go back up quick. Like you unlock a jetpack where you can like fly up through and stuff, and a grappling hook. And once you have all those things where you can move around super freely, I think it becomes a lot more fun.
Yeah.
Because I did find at the very start, this is just kind of digging through the dirt is just kind of a pain in the ass and it takes too long. But you could pretty quickly upgrade your skills to the point where you can breeze through it without too much hassle.
I also think that I don't like the idea of it being like a mining thing where you go down and down and down. Like something about that feels kind of claustrophobic or something.
It is. It really is. Yeah, there have been a couple of points where I'm like, this is super unsettling.
Yeah.
No,
Which
I totally...
I feel like that. It sounds dumb coming out of my mouth, but that's just genuinely how I feel about it. I think.
I
I
can
don't like
totally...
playing games with big spiders.
Yeah.
Because they are not cooperative players. And we never get very far.
No, I can totally understand that.
Yeah.
I have had that like creep in a couple of times, which it's trying to do.
Yeah.
Like, so you could argue that it's effective, and in
Totally.
some players' cases, perhaps too effective.
Hey, and it's the complete opposite of No Man's Sky, where you're flying into the galaxy.
Your phone is turned on again.
Why does it keep doing that?
I don't think we've said anything that even sounds like Google. I shouldn't have said Google. Sponsor of the show.
Sponsor of the show, Google. Anyway, I think they're two, for me, they've been two, very fun additions to the Switch library. They're both only like $20-something, so they're, well worth your time if they sound...
Because I went to buy Golf Story because you guys had talked about it, and it is cheaper on the American store.
Oh, really?
The Australian
Oh.
Only by
right.
like a couple of bucks, but it's just so fucking annoying that keeps happening over here.
Yeah.
Because Steam's going to have Australian prices soon, which they haven't ever for 10 years or something, which is fucking stupid. But the people are apparently what's happened in some other countries when they've shifted over to their currency, so the prices all go up because of whatever reason. The stuff's more expensive in Australia than it should be anyway.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
For some reason.
Yeah. But I think, like, I don't know what people think Golf Story sounds like, but it actually, like, I've played a lot of it, and there's a lot to go. I feel like it is a game that's worth $20 easily.
Definitely,
I've put a shit ton of time into it.
And
I
like I
love
said,
Mario Tennis on the Game Boy. I think
it's fun. It's charming. It'll take up a lot of your time in the single player. And then, like I said, you get this really cool, like simplistic but very fun and easy to throw someone else into competitive golf game. And it's the feel of it is all great. The HD Rumble is really good.
Yeah, totally.
The Rumble stuff that it does. That big
how
thing.
How many golf balls did it feel like were in the controller?
2.
That big thing that no one has really done anything with yet.
Yeah.
So a lot of fun there. Is there anything else that any of us have played?
I played a bit more of Nier Automata.
Right.
It's I'm still in the bit where it's more of a typical RPG, like a lot of fetch quests and stuff like that. But the combat and the kind of like just the basic world traversal is just really fun and really tight. And the art style in that combined with the gameplay is like, this is still a very, very good game.
I really want to play that.
I only mentioned it again because it's like you got to play it this year.
I've got it sitting on my because I ordered. I got Persona 5 and Nier Automata at the same time.
Yeah, that's right.
Is this an easier one to dip in and out of? Because I feel like now that I'm in with Persona, I'm gonna really need to like.
I think they're kind of on par. Like Persona is longer, but I think they're very similar.
But
they're very
I mean,
similar.
like. Is Nier Automata easy, would you say, to kind of dip out of for a bit and then pick up again? Because that's my worry about Persona if I leave it too long in between. But it also has that little story thing where you can go
and it's kind of structured almost similar to like TV show seasons or something.
Yeah,
totally. It's an overarching narrative, but each segment of it is pretty independent,
self-contained. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
Nier and Neo as well. Two things I want to get around to. I played a little bit of Super Mario Sunshine.
Oh yeah.
And by a little bit, I mean a fair amount of it.
Okay.
Tell which way that was going to go.
Was
it more or less than 5 hours?
It was more than 5 probably.
Okay, cool.
It would have been about 7, but that's for something else.
Oh,
different podcast.
secrets.
Other than this one.
No, it's not.
No, we're doing
Secrets.
another special thing soon.
Yes.
But, so I'm going through and playing a few of them Mario games. And let me tell you, Sunshine,
No good.
I'm going to talk about it later because I want to gather my thoughts, but I didn't have a good time.
What are you playing? Are you playing it on an emulator?
No, I'm playing it on the... on
You have a GameCube.
I have a Wii.
Ah.
And that can play the old GameCube things.
yeah, nice.
So I dug that
Nice.
out.
All
Anyway.
right.
Well,
Did
I
you
guess
play some Final Fantasy 12 as well?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I've played the first couple of hours of that. I don't know if I'm into it.
Yeah, right.
And it's, as with all of the Final Fantasy games, I reckon you can tell in the first few hours because that's the characters, the story, the style, and the combat are all laid
Maybe.
out in those first few hours.
I remember
I'd really like to like it, but I'm not sure if I do at this
From
point.
my 11-year ago memory, and as we've proven, it doesn't go back for 2 years
Yes.
currently, so I don't know if
Yes.
this is reliable, but I remember it being one of those ones where it's like the first 4 hours are kind of bleh,
Yeah, okay.
and then it's so, I don't know, but...
So that's not convinced yet, but I'll keep playing it when I have the time.
right. Nice.
So never.
Well, I guess we should wrap that up for this week on Filthy Casuals.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening. Thank you if you're one of the people who supports us on Patreon. If you'd like a t-shirt or to come to our Sydney show, filthycasuals.com.au is where you can find all that stuff. Leave us a review and rating on iTunes. All that stuff really does help.
Yeah.
Let us know as we are getting near the end of the year anything that you think is a serious Game of the Year contender that we have missed out on, because I'm trying to kind of get through some of the ones that I never got around to. I've got to pick up Horizon again and put more time into that for sure. But yeah, let us know if there's anything that you think needs to be included in that, because that's time to start thinking about that, I guess.
Yeah.
Yes, thanks once again for listening. And as we say at the end here of every episode of Filthy Casuals...
golf story, what are you, Bob Hope? He had a golf club. I genuinely didn't have one. This time.
This podcast is part of the Planet Broadcasting Network.
Visit planetbcasting.com for more podcasts from our great mates. I mean, if you want. It's up to you.